In today's video, we're taking a look at how to repair a dryer machine easy and simple. This is so easy, anyone could do it. Everything that we use on the video, we're going to leave a link on the description. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. That does help us out a lot. Thank you. So you woke up today and went to dry some clothes. You placed the clothes, you put it for an hour, you came back and they're still wet. Don't worry, here at the StatUpBox team, we've got your back. So this particular video is going to be part of a series on how to fix your dryer. And we're basically going to show how to replace the 5 main components that go bad in a dryer. We'll leave a link for the parts on the description. The first part on the kit is the high limit thermostat. Then we get the thermal fuse. Next, we have the thermal cutoff switch. Then we get the cycling thermostat. Finally is the heating element. And to make life a lot easier, instead of guessing which of the parts went bad, what we like to do is replace all the parts. Because the last thing you want is to install one part today and then in a few weeks or months have to replace a different one. So starting all new is the way to go, especially when the kit for the 5 parts goes for only $30 to $50. We'll leave a link on the description if you want to check it out. The first thing that you want to do is verify that you have the correct house. The second thing that you want to do is verify that you do have a dryer. And if you don't and you're watching this video for the comedic relief, we applaud you. Now that we have all the data points covered, we're ready for the next step. And because the last thing you want on a clear sunny day is to die, we want to go ahead and unplug the dryer from the outlet. Next, we want to make sure that we remove the exhaust vent from the dryer. In many cases, you may have to bring the dryer to an open area to have space to work on it. And the area that we want to work on the dryer is the back. You're going to notice the large back cover, which is held by some screws or bolts. Depending on your model, it could be flathead screws, Phillips screws, or in this case, small bolted screws. We're going to use the ancient technique passed down generation to generation of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And remember, a pro tip, saving the screws to put the door back is a good idea. Even though that you want to add to the bin of screws that are always left over when you finish building something, today is not that day. And that is one of the greatest mysteries in life. Just like that sock that disappears on the dryer, we never know why we rebuild things we have screws left over. Once you get to the last screw, we want to make sure that we hold the door before it gives you a lovely kiss. Having a helper or a Watson, it's a good idea. They can help you hold the screws, meanwhile your body contorts to pretzel position. Or to kill your confidence level of, I don't know that he knows what he's doing. Once we remove the cover, we're going to notice the cycling thermostat. Remember, you can always take a picture, mark the wires with tape, or rely on your beautiful mind. You can wiggle side to side gently to remove it. Now we're ready to remove the screw. And remember the technique passed down generation to generation of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Even though it's very tempting to stay with the screw and add it to the DIY screw bin, we're gonna save it to use it to install the new one. Remember to flex, use both arms for even pump. If you have any lint, dirt, or gunk, you want to go ahead and remove that. And now we're ready to install the new one. We're gonna reverse engineer our way to glory. Now you've done it. You're one step closer to victory. Our next part on the list, the thermal fuse. And what we want to do is get the new one. And we're going to do this because connecting the wires after disconnecting them to the new one is going to assure that you don't forget where goes which. Remember, you can always take a picture, mark the wires with tape, or rely on your beautiful mind. It seems Watson did not believe the last part. We're going to use needle nose pliers to remove the wires. You can wiggle side to side gently to remove it. And even though we all moved our bodies, what I meant is the pliers. We also know in some cases we have very strong audience that can remove it with their hands. You can as well. Remember to flex, use both arms for even pump. Now that we removed the wires and placed it on the new thermal fuse, we're gonna go ahead and remove the old fuse. We're gonna use the same technique as before, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. remembering to save the screw because we're going to use it to place the new one. If you have any lint or debris, you want to go ahead and clean it. Now that the fuse is removed, we're going to reverse engineer our way to glory. Now you've done it. You're one step closer to victory. Our next part on the list, the thermal cutoff switch. The first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and unplug the wires. You can do this by using your beautiful strong hands, or you can use needle nose pliers. You can wiggle side to side to make it a lot easier to remove. And no, I don't mean your body, I mean the connections. If you notice your wires don't stay in place, you can mark them or throw a picture of them so you can remember which goes where, or rely on your beautiful mind. Now we're ready to remove the screw. And remember the technique passed down generation to generation of lefty loosey, righty tighty. Even though it's very tempting to stay with the screw and add it to the DIY screw bin, we're gonna save it to use it to install the new one. Remember to flex, use both arms for even pump. If you have any lint, dirt, or gunk, you want to go ahead and remove that. And now we're ready to install the new one. We're gonna reverse engineer our way to glory. Now you've done it. You're one step closer to victory. Our next part on the list, the high limit thermostat. And this part is going to be a 2-for-1 because we're also going to remove the heating element at the same time. And there's two ways you can remove the high limit thermostat. You can remove it before removing the heating element, or you can remove it once you have removed the heating element. We're going to show both ways. And this is the first way. And to make the job a lot easier, what we're going to do is disconnect the cables from the old thermostat and connect it directly to the new thermostat. This is going to help not to mix up the cables, but also it's going to make the installation a lot easier. So you can remove them with your beautiful strong hands, or you can use needle nose pliers. Once we've inserted the new wires on the new thermostat, we can place it to the side. As you can tell, this particular part is not connected by any screws, but it's inserted by pressure on the same wire connector. And the top part is held by a tab that goes inserted in the hole. So we're going to start by removing the bottom, just pulling it out and then wiggling the top a little bit inward, and then bring it down a little bit and then remove it. And to give you a better look, we remove the heating element so you can get a better look on how to remove it and place it back. And remember, you can always use your beautiful strong hands or needle nose pliers. Now that we have the thermostat removed, we could go ahead and remove the heating element. Now that we have the heating element in sight, we're going to notice two screws, one to the left and one to the right. We're going to use the ancient technique of lefty loosey, righty tighty. Remember to save the screws. With inflation, you never know when you might need them. Once we remove one side, we want to make sure that we hold the heating element. Meanwhile, we remove the second one, because the last thing you want is to go from a DIY project to an ER visit. So remembering that pro tip, we go ahead and remove the screw on the other side. And this is the second way of removing the high limit thermostat. We're going to go ahead and remove the wires from the thermostat. You can choose to take a picture, label the wires, write it down on a piece of paper, or remember with your beautiful strong mind. Even though Watson laughed and placed the face of disbelief at that comment, we know you can. You can choose to remove the wires before removing the screws or after. At the end of the day, you are the king, queen, both or none of your castle. Just don't let your friends know, your significant other, roommates, because you might lose the throne. Now that we have the wires removed and the screws, we're ready to pull down and remove the heating element. And here we have the high limit thermostat. We're going to go ahead and remove that. We're going to use some pliers to remove the thermostat from the connector tab at the bottom, and then pushing it a little bit in so we can remove the top tab from the hole. We get our new heating element, and we're also going to get our new high limit thermostat. To install it, we're going to reverse engineer our way to glory, but we're going to start by inserting the tab on the hole first on the top, and then inserting our connector tab at the bottom last. So we're going to take our new heating element and we're going to push it in and up. Meanwhile, we align it to the correct place. We're going to insert one screw first to hold the heating element, and then place the other one, and then remembering the ancient technique of lefty loosey, righty tighty, we finish the screws in. And now Now, using our beautiful strong mind, we go ahead and place the wires back to its original location. Meanwhile, we cheat and look at the picture just to make sure that we did it correctly. At all times, remembering not to let Watson see that you're glimpsing at your cell phone. But if you did it the first way, we're gonna take our thermostat, insert the tab on the hole, then push it in the bottom, and because the wire's already in, you're done. Now you've done it. You're one step closer to victory. We're gonna go ahead and place the cover back and start screwing that dryer to submission. Always remember the ancient technique of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Once we placed all the screws, you can connect your dryer and confirm that it's working. And remember, we're gonna have 6 total videos at looking on how to fix your dryer machine easy and simple. Now you've done it, Grasshopper. You become a master in the drying society of the world. You can pat yourself on the back for a job well done. Don't forget, if you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps. If you have any questions, place them in the comment section below. Either someone on the StatUpBox team or someone on the YouTube community can help you out with an answer. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on social media. Thank you for watching, and here's a link to our latest video.